Hello and welcome to The Big Picture. I'm Tina Jha. Union Transport Minister Nitin Gadkari announced the vehicle scrappage policy on Thursday. Speaking in Lok Sabha, he said the policy aims to keep old, polluting vehicles from plying on the road. In fact, to this aspect, he highlighted that there are 51 lakh vehicles in India which are older than 20 years, 34 lakh vehicles which are more than 15 years old, and around 17 lakh vehicles older than 15 years but do not have vehicle fitness certificate. He also said old vehicles pollute air 10 to 12 times more compared to the vehicles that are fit and also pose a risk to road safety. Now, after the implementation of this policy, commercial and private vehicles will be deregistered after 15 and 20 years respectively, and their re-registration will also be discouraged. Further, the new vehicle scrappage policy will be a win-win proposal for the auto industry. According to Nitin Gadkari, scrapping old vehicles will lead to increased demands for newer vehicles, which will boost the auto sector. And further, the move will also benefit the centre and the states as well to garner more GST. The policy is likely to come into effect later this year. So on this edition of The Big Picture, we will discuss all about the vehicle scrappage policy, what it means for owners of old vehicles, in what ways is it going to boost the auto industry, and of course, how significant a step will it be towards reducing pollution. To discuss these aspects and much more on the program today, I have with me two distinguished panelists. Let me introduce them to you. We are joined by Mr. Amit Vardhan. He is Joint Secretary, Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, and Mr. Arun Malhotra. He is an auto industry expert. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me on The Big Picture today. Mr. Vardhan, let me begin the program today with you. If you could, for the benefit of our viewers, highlight the key provisions of the vehicle scrappage policy and also what was the need for such a policy right now.
Thank you very much. You have already outlined the objectives. In brief, what I'd like to say is that with scrappage, what happens is that when we shift to newer vehicles, the fuel consumption gets lowered, the maintenance cost gets lowered, there is increased safety for passengers. Newer vehicles are more environment friendly, so there'll be a reduction in vehicular pollution. Then low-cost raw materials will obtain from scrap, which can be used in other industries like steel, and there are other rare earth metals also. Mm-hmm. We also intend to bring the informal vehicle scrapping industry into the formal sector. These are the main objectives. And it is estimated that this step will boost investments by about rupees 10,000 crores and lead to 35,000 more jobs. So that is the context, that those are the objectives of this policy.
Also,
now, this policy has a dual system of incentives and disincentives. We'll start with the incentives. First is when the older vehicles are scrapped, then the scrapping center will offer some value for it. Typically, it would be around 4 to 6% of the ex-showroom price of the new vehicle. Then we'll write to the state governments to offer a rebate, up to 25% rebate in road tax for personal vehicles and up to 15% rebate for commercial vehicles. We'll also nudge the original equipment manufacturers of the auto industry to provide a discount on the purchase of new vehicles against the scrapping certificate of old vehicles. In fact, we have written to them, requesting them to consider about 5%, minimum 5% discount on this account. Then when a vehicle is scrapped, then against the scrapping certificate, there will be waiver of registration fee for the new vehicles. So these are the incentives that we propose. Disincentives, there are three kinds of disincentives. One is that after 15 years, when the personal vehicle goes for re-registration, then there is a registration renewal fee that has to be paid. So that has been, it is proposed to increase that. Then there is a fitness testing fee that will also increase. And there is a fitness certification fee that also we plan to increase. So
okay,
these are the
also help us understand when you say a fitness exercise, so what kind of an exercise will be undertaken to determine whether the vehicles are fit to be on the road?
You see, we are planning to prepare the context for establishment of automated fitness centers. Already there are about 7 fitness centers operational, but we want to tweak the rules a bit. So those rules will be out next week, or next week probably they'll be out. So there'll be automated tests on various aspects of vehicles, which are laid down in our central motor vehicle rules, which have to do with meeting emission norms, road safety norms. So those will be accounted for. There'll be detailed automated tests in these scrapping centers. And if a vehicle fails the fitness test, then it will be recommended for scrapping. Of course, there's a provision for appeal also, a retest. If they make some changes in the vehicle, then there'll be a retest as well. But if it finally fails those fitness tests, then it will be deregistered and sent for scrapping. That is the reason.
Okay, Mr. Malhotra, Nitin Gadkari has called it a win-win policy for the auto industry, saying it is going to boost this sector. So help us understand the ways it is going to contribute to the growth of the auto sector.
So, the vehicle scrappage policy has been in discussion for a fairly long time. So it's a great day today that we have seen the contours of this policy coming out very clearly. It's clearly a win-win. I think the way it is being done is that, as Mr. Amit Vardhan mentioned, it's got two components to it. One is the disincentive component, whereby you tax more on in terms of older vehicles, in terms of their registration, in terms of their road tax, and also in terms of the fitness certificate, so that people of older vehicles are somewhat nudged and motivated to shift out and move to newer vehicles and give up those old vehicles. The second is this positive incentive which we talked of, which is comprised of, which the Honorable Minister has composed of three components. One is he is expecting the OEMs, the original equipment manufacturers, or the manufacturers to pull in 5% of the price of the showroom price. Second, I think there is a suggestion and a recommendation to the state government that they should contribute something like 25% of the road tax and registration, which effectively comes to about 3% of the showroom price. And then we are even talking of the scrappage, what you will get out of the scrapping the vehicles, that will be 3 to 4%. So effectively the package is 10 to 11%. So that's the positive part of it. So clearly there's a clear roadmap. Although I think in terms of implementation, since we're talking of vehicle scrapping centers, we're talking of, Mr. talked of high-end quality fitness centers, which are hardly 6-7 in the country. There are challenges which we'll discuss in the next round. But overall, I think if you look at the contours of it and the direction to it, it is a very positive move, and it should benefit both in terms of road safety, pollution, also in terms of people owning vehicles, and also in terms of manufacturers' demand, which has been suppressed in the last 2-3 years, to come back. So overall, positive, I would say.
Okay, also in terms of job opportunities, it is being said that it's going to lead to massive job opportunities. So what is expected approximately? What kind of jobs are, do we expect to be generated through this policy?
We are looking at about 35,000 jobs in terms of setting up the new scrapping centers, automated fitness centers, the boost that it will give to the auto industry, and the ancillary industries which will develop due to this. So the total number is about 35,000.
Okay, and since the larger objective, Mr. Vardhan, is in terms of curtailing vehicular pollution and improving fuel efficiency, so if we talk in both these aspects, how beneficial will it be?
This will be very beneficial. The new vehicles pollute about 10 to 12 times less. And we have a global climatic commitment in the COP Paris Climate Change Agreement. We've said that we'll reduce our pollution by about 33 to 35% by the year 2030. This will be a very significant step in that direction.
Okay. Mr. Malhotra, let me also understand from you the scrap value for the old vehicle. What, according to you, will be the percentage of the ex-showroom price of a new vehicle? What can it be?
The general estimate is that will be about 3.5 to 4.5% of the new vehicle ex-showroom price. So effectively, if you're buying a new vehicle of, say, 100 rupees, it would probably contribute to your kitty by 4 rupees. That's 4% if you take in real terms. But if you take in terms of the old vehicle, the person gets a fairly good deal if you take in that percentage terms.
Okay, and earlier on you spoke about some implementation challenges. So going forth, when this policy comes into effect, what are the potential challenges that you foresee?
See, effectively, there are a number of stakeholders in this entire exercise of scrappage of vehicles. One side you have the OEMs, other side OEMs and their dealers. Second side, we have also the government authorities, the state governments. Then there are scrappage centers, and then there are even RTOs, and then there are fitness centers. Now, somehow, the entire value chain has to be synchronized very well. Investment in a scrappage center is very high, and today we only have one of them, which is in the country. And in a country large like India, you at least need 10 to 12 scrappage centers, which are very high investment, and also would probably take some time to come. The second challenge is, as Mr. Varun mentioned, is you're trying to have fitness centers which are based on technology, which has less human intervention. That will also require a certain level of investment. And third, which I would like to add is, we are expecting the OEMs to contribute 5% of the ex-showroom price if the customer brings a scrappage policy, scrappage certificate, which if you talk to OEMs, it's very much on the higher side. And second, there is a nudge to the state governments to contribute 25% road tax. Now, this is not mandatory. So, and we've seen in the past, state governments have gone on the path of even actually increasing road tax. So what should happen that you increase road tax and then you give 25%. And third, I am still awaiting one piece of jigsaw puzzle. There has to be some contribution from the central government also in terms of some GST. So one is how you see these benefits actually come to the table and then you synchronize. That's the challenge. But that would be a challenge in any mega project because this is a mega earth-shattering project which is in place. But we need to, along with the contours, we need to have a clear, detailed out SOPs. What are the issues with the red flag? And there should be a coordinating body. We should look that the whole step is synchronized. And if there are any bottlenecks, they need to be removed. That's the way I look at it.
Okay, Mr. Vardhan, so quite a couple of challenges put forth by Mr. Malhotra. Let's take them one by one, especially if we talk about synchronization of multiple stakeholders. So, and also the other problems, if we talk about, have these been identified before the policy comes into effect later this year?
Yes, certainly. In fact, we have already set up an interministerial committee, and there are various stakeholders also in that committee. We have had discussions with them. In fact, we had a webinar very recently with the major players in this field. We took their feedback on what should be done for setting up the scrapping centers and fitness centers. Based on their suggestions, we are framing the rules. We have released a draft notification for the scrapping center rules today itself. So it's out in the public domain, and we'll invite suggestions from the public and stakeholders on it. In any case, it is based on stakeholders' suggestions, so but we further want to enrich it. And our aim is very ambitious. We want to set up about 50 scrapping centers by December 2023 and 75 fitness centers by March 2023. This is the challenge. But we are in talks with all the stakeholders concerned, and we are confident that we'll achieve these targets.
Okay, and a very interesting observation that was made by Mr. Malhotra was regarding investment when we talk about automated fitness centers. So where is this money going to come from?
No, again, we have initiated discussions with all the stakeholders, including state governments. So there'll be investors, state governments, the central government, various ministries will all sit together and we'll find ways out to sweeten the deal and to facilitate investment in this field. We're very much seized of the issue and we'll bring all the stakeholders together and find solutions.
Okay, taking the discussion forward, Mr. Malhotra, apart from the $6 billion steel scrappage potential that is being talked about through this new vehicle policy, is there any additional business that is also on offer that can be generated from recycling of various other products?
So, when you're recycling a lot of material which comes out, which can be probably properly, officially utilized in scrappage terms and utilized back in the industry. So it does not go waste. Today, the way when vehicles are scrapped, it all goes in kabadi, as they call it in normal parlance. So there is a utilization of that equipment. Second, I think the nudge to vehicles, especially I'm talking commercial vehicles, people by basic nature, in the commercial vehicles, they don't change their vehicles very easily. So probably this incentive on one side and this disincentive also working together, that makes it a 2, 1 plus and 1 minus makes it +2. That should push through, which will increase the demand. because one of the sectors which is very badly impacted in the last 3 years is the heavy commercial vehicles. And there is where the pollution is highest, the problems are highest. So if there's a focus on that area, and that's may contribute 5% in terms of volume of the vehicles, but in 55% in terms of pollution, you can get a lot of good results. So I would say there should be a focused activity, but I would urge the government, to focus more strongly on the heavy commercial vehicles because there are more quick wins and big gains to be made in the short and medium term.
Okay,
Our
Mr.
focus
Vardhan,
is more on the heavy commercial vehicles. I would like to inform you. We are
Yes, yes.
concentrating more on that.
Also, Mr. Vardhan, because clearly scrappage needs to be promoted. So apart from incentives, is there something else that can be offered?
Now, these are the
you know,
incentives.
Yes, yes.
What
please
can
go
be
ahead.
done is, like some states, like Delhi government has taken a lead. It is giving an additional incentive for scrappage when vehicles are scrapped. So I would urge that somehow the state governments also needs to be nudged, guided or pushed to give some additional support in terms of scrappage. And this has to become a national movement. And somehow
Yes.
we need to see that we don't leave it to each and every state. Although we have a federal structure, states have their own powers, but somehow we have to have a national common policy in terms of implementation. Then we'll get the biggest benefit out of it. Otherwise, there can be issues of movement and vehicles from one state to another, from urban to rural. So it has to be a pan-India approach. To that extent, it has to be one India policy, not left it to too many states. That's the way I look at it.
Absolutely. So, Mr. Vardhan, when we talk about a pan-India policy, and of course, to promote scrappage, the guidelines have to be common. It is on the center to implement it effectively. So to that aspect, what more needs to be done apart from, of course, the incentives? What kind of additional support can be given?
Here, I agree fully that the states have to be on board because they will be offering these road tax rebates. They have to offer land and all facilities. So we are fully seized of this issue, and we have taken state governments on board. In all these meetings, in all these committees, the state governments will be represented. And there is one area known as Alang in Gujarat, which has a massive ship-breaking industries. We are planning to have an integrated vehicle scrapping facility there as well to seize the economies of scale in that particular area. So along with these incentives, we plan to bring the Gujarat government on board, the Gujarat Maritime Board, Gujarat Industrial Development Corporation. That will be developed in a big way. We are fully aware that other stakeholders have to be fully on board in this in the implementation of this policy.
And when it comes to GST contribution, as was highlighted by Mr. Malhotra earlier, what can we expect the center to do additionally?
I've mentioned everything, whatever we plan to do, the incentives and disincentives that we are proposing. So as of now, this is what we are planning.
Okay, and Mr. Vardhan, because Mr. Malhotra has already highlighted some challenges, but when we talk about implementation, all our policies look extremely good on paper, but the challenge is to get it effectively implemented, and especially when we have multiple stakeholders on board. So what are the kind of challenges that you would want to highlight?
You see, first of all, we have to issue the rules for scrapping centers and fitness centers. So the draft rules for scrapping centers have already been released today. Fitness center rules will come out next week. Then we have issued rules for the enhanced fees for re-registration, for fitness testing, and for fitness certification. That is also released. Then we have issued another notification for government vehicles. We have said that government vehicles which have completed 15 years of life will not be re-registered. So those will account for about 250,000 vehicles. So they'll be scrapped. And in their place, we propose that vehicles be leased. This is there. So these are the various things. And then we are interacting with potential investors, big players in this area, with state governments, with MSTC, with the other central ministries to attract investment into these two spheres of scrapping facilities and testing facilities. So we are fully seized of it, and we will be interacting more intensively with all these stakeholders to attract the maximum possible investment in these two areas.
Also, what happens if, any of the vehicle owners, when it fails to clear the fitness test, challenges the result. So what is the procedure then?
There's an option for one appeal. They'll be given an opportunity to get their vehicle repaired if there's possibility of it, and then they'll come back for the test. But if they fail the fitness test again, then the vehicle will be scrapped. And this will be linked with our portal, Vahan portal we have with the NIC. So all the scrapping centers and fitness centers will be linked with that portal, Vahan portal. So there will be seamless deregistration through the portal itself. That is what we are planning, so that there will be ease of scrapping.
I'd just like to add what Mr. Vardhan said. Since these fitness centers will be high technology centers, where the scope for human interventions and human changes will be less, to that extent, it will be very fair and transparent. And beyond a 0.1 appeal, I don't think it should arise. And this linking with the Vahan data will help it to remove. Now, only challenge will be when you go to the semi-urban rural areas, the vehicles which are deregistered, are they also tracked and monitored, or should keep running? But that's a more implementation thing. I'm sure they'll be looked into. But in terms of technology usage, the more technology is utilized in this and less human intervention, it will be fair, transparent, seamless, and also very effective and efficient. That's the way I look at it. I think that's the government's intent also.
Okay.
In fact, I would like to add for the fitness testing centers, the results will be masked on the lanes. And they'll go straight to the central server, so no one there in the field will get to know. It will be communicated straight to the vehicle owner or whoever has brought the vehicle. So it is proposed to be a very, very fair system, transparent system, automated, without any human intervention.
And will there be a mechanism to track and monitor the deregistered vehicles, especially in far and wide parts of the country?
Yes. As I said, there is a Vahan portal which has the registration of vehicles. So it will be, all these centers will be linked to the Vahan portal. So everything will be trackable.
Okay, Mr. Malhotra, we've spoken about the challenges, but one concluding remark from you on what more can be done, because the suggestions have been invited from the stakeholders to make the scheme successful going forward.
The way I see it is the steps outlined are very clear and focused. Rather than having more and more outlined very clear, I think the God is in the details. It is with the quality of implementation which should be the deciding factor. So I don't think we'll have to do more and more. Already we have enough on our plate. If we do that well, we do it effectively, efficiently, and we have a tracking mechanism so that we make changes or any modifications that are required to be done post correction, then we can do it well. So let's keep it very simple, very basic, and very data-based and technological. It will happen better. I don't think we need to add more points to it.
So what's there is enough and sufficient, but the key lies in the implementation. With that, I'll have to call it a wrap on this edition of The Big Picture. Thank you to both my guests for joining me on the program and putting forth your perspective on the new vehicle scrappage policy. To our viewers, just in case you missed the television broadcast of our program, let me remind you, you can also watch it on YouTube and Twitter, and you can send in your feedback and suggestions as well to us. Thank you for your time.